Shinobu Kocho versus Doma. Let's start with the most calculated risk in the entire castle. Shinobu walked into this fight knowing she might die, but here's the twist. She didn't come to survive, she came to be eaten. Upper Moon 2 Doma faces the insect Hashira in what looks like poison versus immunity. Shinobu's entire fighting style revolves around toxins that can drop demons in seconds. But Doma can metabolically break down Shinobu's formulas fast enough that small injections don't stop him. Her main advantage gets neutralized before the real fight even starts. You watch Shinobu's breathing techniques become increasingly desperate as Doma's ice attacks corner her. Dance of the Dragonfly becomes Dance of the Bee. Sting becomes frantic attempts to land any hit that might work. Doma's frozen mist fills the air, making each breath burn her lungs, while his casual cruelty makes each exchange more personal. Her sister Kane's memory drives her forward through the pain. She remembers their shared promise to protect humans from demons like this one. But memories don't stop frozen mist from filling her lungs or ice crystals from shredding her uniform. Emotional fuel only carries you so far when your opponent treats the fight like entertainment. The decisive moment comes when Shinobu realizes her poisons aren't working fast enough. She's landing hits, injecting toxins, but Doma keeps talking and smiling like nothing happened. His regeneration outpaces her delivery system by a massive margin. Most fighters would panic or retreat at this point. Instead, she makes the ultimate choice, sacrifice herself to become the poison. Shinobu had spent months building up a lethal concentration and had a concentrated dose ready in her sword. When Doma consumed her body, he ingested a dose far beyond what her regular injections could deliver. That's why Shinobu turned herself into the actual toxin reservoir. Shinobu's death becomes her weapon when Doma absorbs her completely. He thinks he's gained nourishment, but he's actually consumed enough poison to kill him. The toxin spreads through his system faster than his adaptation can handle it. She swapped survival for guaranteed victory. While other Hashira fought to live another day, Shinobu fought to guarantee her enemy's death, even if it meant her own. This sets the brutal tone for everything that follows in the castle. Victory doesn't always mean walking away. Sometimes it means making sure the right person dies, even when that person is you. You'll see how that sacrifice rippled into later fights, but not every battle required death to settle old scores. Zenitsu Agatsuma versus Kaigaku. Zenitsu's battle with his former training partner shows what happens when betrayal meets justice. When your fellow student becomes a demon, there's only one way this ends. Zenitsu faces Kaigaku, now Upper Moon 6, in a clash of corrupted versus pure thunder breathing. Both fighters learned from the same master, but Kaigaku took Muzan's offer for power and survival while Zenitsu stayed human. Kaigaku mocks their shared master Iguro while demonstrating his enhanced demonic speed and multiple thunder-breathing forms that Zenitsu had never seen before. The weight of Jiguro's suicide hangs over every strike. Their master killed himself because he couldn't bear the shame of having a demon as a student. That guilt lives in Zenitsu's heart, making him doubt every move while Kaigaku feeds off the pain he caused. You watch Zenitsu's unconscious fighting style meet Kaigaku's conscious cruelty and rapid lightning exchanges. Thunderclap and Flash versus demon-enhanced thunder forms, with Kaigaku's supernatural speed making each strike potentially fatal. Zenitsu fights the way he always has, asleep and unaware, while Kaigaku stays awake to savor his superiority. Kaigaku's arrogance becomes his weakness as he underestimates what his former partner learned from their master. He assumes Zenitsu remained the same scared kid who could barely use one technique. Kaigaku knows forms 1 through 6 perfectly, but there was something Iguro taught that Kaigaku never learned. He's about to do something Kaigaku never saw coming. What does the scared kid finally choose? The critical choice comes when Zenitsu must stay conscious and face his trauma to access the secret 7th form. Fighting while awake means confronting the guilt and shame around his master's death, every fear and failure that defined his life. Most people would rather stay asleep than deal with that level of pain. Zenitsu had to stay awake and face the guilt around Jiguro's suicide. That decision, staying conscious, was what unlocked the lethal strike. Hanoi Kazuchi no Kami decapitates Kaigaku mid-air in a single, perfectly executed strike. The 7th thunder form that Iguro created moves faster than Upper Moon reflexes can follow, cutting through demonic regeneration like it doesn't exist. Zenitsu's survival depended on mastering consciousness, the one thing Kaigaku never expected from his cowardly former partner. While Kaigaku relied on demonic power, Zenitsu found strength in accepting his weakness and fighting through it anyway. Justice for their master comes at the cost of Zenitsu's innocence. He can never go back to being the scared kid who fought while unconscious. But some demons require more than single strikes to defeat, especially when they've spent over a century perfecting their craft. Tanjiro Kamado and Giyu Tomioka versus Akaza. Akaza represents the ultimate test for any demon slayer. This Upper Moon 3 has never lost a fight, and he's not planning to start now. When Tanjiro and Giyu show up to challenge him, he sees it as entertainment rather than a threat. The strongest Upper Moon faces 2 demon slayers in the castle's most technically demanding battle. Tanjiro brings his evolving sun-breathing skills, while Giyu carries the refined precision of water-breathing mastery. Against most opponents, this combination would guarantee victory. Against Akaza, it barely keeps them alive. Akaza's destructive death techniques push both fighters beyond their known limits. His compass needle tracks their battle spirit, while his air-type attacks create shockwaves that shatter stone. You watch Tanjiro dodge punches that never actually touch him, because the air pressure alone can crush bones. Giyu's sword work becomes increasingly defensive as Akaza's speed forces him into pure reaction mode. Both fighters unlock their survival tools mid-battle. Giyu awakens his Demon Slayer mark, while Tanjiro briefly hits the transparent world. Both moves are necessary to stand a chance. The mark multiplies Giyu's speed and strength, but even enhanced abilities struggle against Akaza's overwhelming power. Think of the transparent world like slowing down a fight to see muscles and intent. Tanjiro can read Akaza before the punch lands. Giyu's dead calm creates pockets of stillness in the chaos, giving Tanjiro brief moments to breathe and plan. His tactical restraint becomes the foundation for everything that follows, maintaining perfect discipline while Tanjiro's attacks grow more aggressive. The turning point comes when Tanjiro channels his father's sun-breathing memories. Those childhood recollections of watching the Hinokami Kagura dance unlock techniques that predate all other breathing style. Make clear Tanjiro fights to protect, not to gloat. His selfless intent powers sun-breathing. Each form carries solar energy specifically designed to cut through demonic regeneration. Giyu's patience creates the opening for Tanjiro's setting sun transformation. He strikes at the exact moment when Akaza commits to an attack pattern, leaving the demon vulnerable for a split second. Tanjiro's technique decapitates Akaza because he fought with pure motivation rather than anger or hatred. Akaza flickers back to being Hakuji, chooses to die human. His last moment is gratitude, not rage. 2 slayers survived because one learned to see clearly and the other never lost composure. But not every victory in the castle came from perfect teamwork. Sometimes rage and precision had to carry the day when mentors couldn't. Kanao Tsuyuri and Inosuke Hashibira versus Doma. What do you spend your sight for? Kanao spends hers to kill Doma. Shinobu's death turned Kanao from a hesitant fighter into a berserker with perfect aim. The quiet girl who used to flip coins to make decisions now moves with deadly purpose. Every strike carries the weight of her mentor's sacrifice, transforming grief into lethal precision. 2 disciples face the demon who killed their mentor, armed with rage and Shinobu's hidden strategy. Kanao arrives with her sword already drawn, while Inosuke crashes through the ceiling in his typical chaotic style. They're not here for conversation or mercy. Doma sits casually eating human remains, treating their arrival like mild entertainment rather than a death sentence. Doma's Ice Lotus attacks test their coordination, while his casual cruelty fuels their anger. His frozen petals slice through the air in beautiful, deadly patterns while he continues discussing how delicious Shinobu tasted. You watch Kanao's face twist with fury as Doma describes absorbing her mentor like a fine meal. Inosuke's beast instincts kick into overdrive, making him charge headfirst into attacks that would kill normal fighters. The poison from Shinobu's sacrifice finally starts affecting Doma's regeneration speed. His wounds heal slower, his movements become less fluid, and his ice techniques lose their perfect crystalline structure. The toxin works like acid in his system, breaking down the demonic regeneration that made him nearly invincible. Kanao's enhanced vision from flower breathing predicts Doma's moves while Inosuke crashes through his defenses. Think of it like seeing the future written in muscle tension and air currents. She reads the subtle shifts in Doma's posture that telegraph his ice attacks, dodging crystalline death by inches. Meanwhile, Inosuke's unpredictable assault patterns force Doma to split his attention between precision and chaos. Inosuke's beast breathing creates chaos that masks Kanao's precise positioning. His wild sword swings and constant yelling draw Doma's focus while Kanao circles into the perfect striking position. Beast breathing has no forms or patterns, just pure instinct and aggression that keeps enemies guessing. The critical moment comes when Kanao activates her equinoctial vermilion eye despite knowing it will blind her. This technique pushes her visual abilities beyond human limits, letting her see Doma's movements in slow motion. The cost is permanent blindness in that eye, but she makes the trade without hesitation. Kanao sacrifices vision while Inosuke provides the extra force to sever the neck cleanly. Her final flower-breathing form beheads Doma as Inosuke's thrown blades ensure the cut goes through completely. The coordination happens in perfect silence, 2 fighters moving as one weapon. They won because Kanao chose permanent blindness over letting Shinobu's killer escape. But some demons don't just attack with claws and fangs. Some turn the entire battlefield into their weapon. Mitsuri Kanroji and Obanai Iguro versus Nakime. Nakime turns architecture into assassination. Most demons use claws and fangs as weapons. Nakime literally uses the castle as an extension of her power. Doors, floors, and gravity answer to her biwa. Two Hashira face Nakime, whose blood demon art manipulates the entire infinity castle around them. Mitsuri arrives with her flexible blade ready, while Obanai's serpent sword coils at his side. They expect a normal fight against a demon hiding in a castle. Instead, they discover Nakime controls every surface, making the battlefield itself their enemy. Rooms rotate without warning, floors become ceilings, and doors vanish mid-step as Nakime reshapes their fighting space. It's like fighting in a room that keeps turning its walls into floors. You watch solid architecture behave like liquid, reshaping itself to crush or disorient the Hashira. Hallways stretch into impossible distances while staircases fold in on themselves. Gravity shifts directions based on Nakime's whims, making every step a gamble. Mitsuri's flexible sword techniques adapt to the changing geometry, while Obanai's serpent breathing navigates tight spaces. Her love breathing flows like ribbon through the shifting maze, bending around corners that didn't exist seconds before. Obanai's blade moves like a living snake, finding paths through gaps that close as soon as he passes through them. Their weapons become extensions of their ability to think in 3 dimensions, while the environment constantly redefines what 3 dimensions mean. Nakime's perception-based powers let her track every movement through the castle structure. Think of it like having security cameras built into every wall, floor, and ceiling. She sees through the castle's eyes, making stealth impossible and ambush attempts futile. Her biwa music controls the transformations, each note triggering massive architectural shifts that would crush normal fighters. The decisive factor becomes their ability to maintain coordination despite constant environmental changes. While Nakime controls space, Mitsuri and Obanai control timing. They move as a unit, anticipating each other's reactions to the shifting battlefield. When walls become floors, they adjust their footing together. When rooms flip upside down, they maintain formation. Yushiro briefly disrupts Nakime with his blindfolded technique, giving Mitsuri and Obanai a window to strike, then later uses Nakime's power to change the battlefield. His demon art creates illusions that interfere with her perception network, giving the Hashira brief moments where she can't track their exact positions. They contain Nakime by adapting faster than she can reshape her domain. Instead of fighting the changes, they flow with them, using the castle's movements to gain momentum and positioning. Their survival came down to trusting each other when up became down and walls became floors. But manipulating architecture is nothing compared to facing someone who knows every technique you might use. Muichiro, Genya, Sanemi, and Gyomei versus Kokushibo. Kokushibo represents the ultimate betrayal, a former Hashira turned demon. Upper Moon 1 knows every technique you might use because he helped develop them. This demon was once a swordsman like them, trained in breathing styles, familiar with every strategy these fighters might attempt. 4 of the strongest Hashira face a demon who knows all their techniques and has 6 eyes to track them. Muichiro brings his mist breathing, Gyomei carries his stone breathing mastery, Sanemi wields wind breathing fury, and Genya supports with his unique demon eating abilities. Against any other opponent, this would be massive overkill. Against Kokushibo, it barely evens the odds. Kokushibo's moon breathing creates blade extensions that turn every swing into a ranged attack. His sword generates crescent-shaped energy slashes that extend far beyond the physical blade, making close combat nearly impossible. You watch fighters dodge attacks from 20 feet away because the moon crescents slice through stone like paper. His 6 eyes track multiple opponents simultaneously, eliminating blind spots that normal fighters rely on. Genya makes a desperate gambit by eating strands of Kokushibo's hair, granting himself temporary demon powers. Think of it like borrowing your enemy's strength at the cost of your humanity. His body transforms, gaining regeneration and enhanced physical abilities that let him survive attacks meant to be instantly fatal. Genya even used a blood art tree to slow regeneration, while Gyomei and Sanemi synchronized attacks after awakening their marks. Gyomei awakens his Demon Slayer mark, while Sanemi pushes through near-fatal injuries. The Stone Hashira's mark multiplies his already incredible strength, letting his chained weapons move fast enough to match Kokushibo's speed. Sanemi continues fighting despite wounds that would drop most people, using his own blood to enhance his sword techniques. Muichiro's youth becomes an advantage as his unpredictable style confuses the ancient demon. While Kokushibo can predict veteran fighters based on centuries of experience, Muichiro's techniques lack the rigid patterns that come with age. His mist creates visual interference that even 6 eyes struggle to penetrate completely. The horror moment comes when Kokushibo's head regenerates after being severed, revealing his true demonic power. Just when victory seems certain, his decapitated body continues fighting while growing a new head. This regeneration surpasses anything the Hashira have seen before, forcing them to rethink their entire strategy mid-battle. Coordinated red blade strikes from marked Hashira finally overwhelm his regeneration through sustained damage faster than his healing could handle. They attack in perfect synchronization, preventing his healing factor from keeping up with multiple simultaneous injuries. Each fighter contributes something unique that Kokushibo couldn't counter alone. They won, but not without dire losses. This was a fight that burned blood and lives to the bone. Yet even this victory was just preparation for what waited beyond the castle walls. Demon Slayers versus Muzan Kibutsuji. Muzan's final battle becomes a race against sunrise. After 1,000 years of hiding in shadows, the Demon King faces his greatest fear, running out of darkness to hide in. Every second that passes brings him closer to the one thing that can kill him permanently. Muzan emerges in his final form as every surviving Demon Slayer converges for the ultimate battle. His body transforms into a nightmarish mass of writhing flesh, tentacles, and mouths that can regenerate from any injury in seconds. The remaining Hashira, Tanjiro, and the other survivors form a circle around him, knowing this is their only chance to end the war. Tamio's drugs sapped Muzan's repair speed, Yushiro hijacked Nakime to get the fight to the surface, Tanjiro's sun-breathing kept him pinned while red nitrine blades and the poison prevented full healing. Then Dawn burned him away. Multiple toxins coursing through Muzan's system weaken his regeneration while making him more desperate and unpredictable. You watch him lash out with increasing fury as the eastern horizon starts to lighten. Think of it like a cornered animal with the strength to level buildings. Tanjiro connects all 12 sun-breathing forms in a desperate attempt to stall for time. His movements flow from one technique to the next without pause, creating a continuous stream of solar energy that burns Muzan's flesh faster than normal attacks. Each form builds on the last, generating enough heat and light to slow the Demon King's advance toward escape routes. Red Nichiren blades from multiple Hashira prevent Muzan's regeneration, while poison weakens him internally. The heated metal cuts through his defenses like they're made of paper, leaving wounds that refuse to heal properly. Combined with the toxins eating him from within, his legendary regeneration starts failing for the first time in centuries. He shrinks into a crawling infant to escape sunlight, a last-ditch pathetic bid to survive. This transformation shows how far the mighty Muzan has fallen, reduced to crawling like a baby toward the nearest shadow while his body distorts to conserve energy for one final escape attempt. His attempt to escape into darkness fails as coordinated sun-based attacks corner him. Every shadow gets illuminated by sun-breathing techniques and heated blades. The survivors work together to eliminate every possible hiding spot, forcing Muzan into the open where dawn can reach him. The sunrise itself becomes the final weapon, burning away 1,000 years of evil. Natural sunlight succeeds, where swords and poison only wounded. Muzan's body disintegrates as the first rays touch him, ending his reign through the simple passage of time. This battle proves the Infinity Castle's logic. Stall or die Tanjiro and the Hashira chose to buy minutes, and nature did the rest. Every survivor made the right choice to prioritize stalling over individual glory. If this part clicked for you, drop a comment on which moment felt the most brutal.